My name is Andrew, and this is Rogue Wrenching. Today, it is 110 degrees outside, so we are moving inside for a project. The project for today is we are replacing this ceiling fan. This is the ceiling fan that came with this house when it was built, and while it works acceptably in terms of airflow, the light is not great because of the chrome that is on the fan and the fan blade specifically. The light shines up, reflects off that chrome, and you get kind of a flickering light, and there's a lot of shadows when the fan is on with the light, and it's just really not that great to look at. So we are upgrading today to a DC powered, nicer fan. It's a little bit bigger, it's gonna move a little bit more airflow, and it's gonna look way nicer. So the first step with any electrical project is to make sure the circuit breaker is off. So let's go ahead and head out to the breaker box. We're gonna turn this on, we're gonna turn off the breaker that we think it is, and then we're gonna make sure this circuit is in fact off before we start disassembling anything, because we don't wanna be working with any kind of a live circuit. Quick disclaimer, I am not an electrician, I'm just a homeowner who knows how to do some basic DIY stuff. So if you are looking for specific electrical questions, find an electrician, because I'm not the guy for that. But I know some basics, and that should be all that we need to install this fan. I think we're gonna be this guy, and okay, now that the breaker is off, you can see the fan is spinning down. It is still switched on, and the breaker is off, so there's no power up to the fan. At this point, we're going to begin the disassembly process. The first step is going to be removing the decorative cover. You can use a ladder or a chair, depending on how tall you are, to get to this. 2 thumb screws, and it comes off pretty quick, like this.
Once the decorative cover is removed, you can disconnect the wires, simply remove the wire nuts and position the wires out of the way.
Once your wires are disconnected, all you've got to do is grab the fan and lift it up, and it slides right out, and then leaves the bracket behind, and the fan assembly comes down. Now that everything is out of the package and we can see what's going on, the first step is going to be to swap out this bracket. It's just a little bit different than the one that came off, and it's only 2 screws, so we're going to go ahead and switch that guy out in the ceiling, and then we'll put together our shaft that it hangs from and put this thing together. We're going to hang the motor and the light fixture first, and then we'll attach the blades to it. There are instructions should you require them. These instructions are pretty great. Step by step kind of walks you through what you're going to need, what the pieces are, all that. Pretty simple installation, not a ton of tools needed so far. We've just needed a screwdriver. We're going to assemble the shaft first, so dress cover on first, and then tapered cone for that. And then we're going to put this into here. So the first thing is to take the 2 wires off the motor and run them up through the center. And that shaft just goes right into there. We have to loosen the screws here so that we can get the pin, the locking pin, through the hole. So for this application, it's this pin and cotter pin here that actually holds the weight of the fan. It's not the screw itself. The screws are just to take up kind of the slop and the wobble of it. So that pin and cotter pin goes through, that's what the weight is, so make sure you get that cotter pin there, that way it can't walk out and fall on you. Once the wiring is routed through and it's pinned properly to the motor, we're going to go ahead and hang this thing up in the bracket. next step is going to be to connect our wiring. So there's two greens, there's a ground off of this bracket and there's a ground off of the support tube. So we're going to connect our two grounds to our bare copper ground. We're going to connect white to white, and then the red in this case is our hot, and that goes to the black wire there. So white to white, black to red, green to ground. The next step is to install this decorative piece that slides up and covers our wiring. We need to take one screw out and then loosen the other one. A short little Phillips head screwdriver is going to be your best friend here. Okay, so with one screw out, one screw loosened, one side has a slot in it so you can push it up, twist it, and then set your second screw. It's always best to start the screw by hand first and then use a screwdriver to push it in the rest of the way.
The next step is to install this dress ring. It installs on the screw heads and then turns clockwise just slightly to lock into place. Once that is in, we're going to remove the screws that hold the fan blades in. They come installed in the motor. They come with these plastic blocks. We don't need those. Go ahead and toss those. We install the fan blades with the open side facing down like this.
So as you put this together, you'll see that the fan starts to tip because the blades are not balanced. That's normal, nothing to worry about there. Just continue to add your fan blades until it balances out. Okay, so when you're tightening these, right here at the end is a lock washer, and as you tighten that screw, you just want to watch for that lock washer to crush to flat, and you'll feel it get snug, and just a little bit of snug beyond that. They don't need to be crazy tight, and that is properly tight. So the next step is to install this plate which holds the light. There are 3 screws here we need to remove first, and we'll put the plate in, and then 3 screws go back into it.
When you're installing these screws, it's much easier to start them by hand and then tighten with the screwdriver. The light installs with a single electrical connection. There are arrows on the light and on the fixture that you line up, push the light in, and rotate it slightly clockwise, and the light locks into place. Once it's locked in, the install is done.
Now that the fan is installed, it is time to turn the breaker back on and see if it catches on fire. All right, well there it is. There is the new fan installed. It is absolutely gorgeous. It really completes this room. It makes the room just feel so much nicer. Also, it's a DC motor fan, which means that it's much more efficient than the old fan. So this fan can run all day, and it costs less than 1/10 of what the old fan costs. So substantial energy savings here with the DC fan. Also, it looks better, and it moves a lot more airflow than the old fan while using a fraction of the energy. The other really cool perk, which I know is just me because I'm tall, but check this out. I can walk under it without hitting my head, whereas the old fan, I hit my head. So minor detail there, but it means a lot to me because I don't like hitting my head on stuff. All in all, this is a fairly straightforward and easy installation. There are instructions if you need them, but like I showed you, it's pretty straightforward, just a couple of screws. All you really need are a couple of screwdrivers to accomplish this install, and depending on how much you have to trim the wire, you might need a pair of wire cutters to trim your wire back. But again, super easy install, no special tools required, quick, easy, in, out, done in about a half hour, 40 minutes. So not too bad at all, easy to do at home, and like I said, substantial upgrade. This fan was a bit more expensive than some other ones, but I think it was well worth the money. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw or you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and that way it can spread to more people. If you want to see more content like this, definitely hit that subscribe button down below. We've got lots more content coming up in the very near future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.